All right, then, with that said, let us get right into the Monday Night Raw review. And Ashton, how do we open up this show?
Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I thought we would get something new to open the show. Nope.
Nope. They come out, and Stephanie, pretty much she begins opening up. And I thought we were going to have this segment straight away with the way she was talking. She does address Daniel Bryan. She does address that, I know that you fans have cheered for him and you're behind him and you love him and you want him to fight and you want him to defend that belt night in and night out. And, he loves to perform for you and he loves each and every one of you and he loves being the champion. But let's be honest, he just couldn't handle the pressure because he has a B-plus body. And she pretty much runs him down to the ground and says that tonight she does hope that Daniel Bryan will do what's best for business and surrender the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The crowd does chant no multiple times when she inferences things like that, or when she's kind of mowing down Daniel Bryan, they'll go yes, yes, yes to support him, but she twists the chants around, which I thought that was good. And then Triple H gets on the mic, Ashton.
Of course he does. Yeah. You know what? Before we even talk about what Triple H said, I do want to point out this was one of the worst crowds that I have ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, really. I don't know if you caught it or not, but in the last segment, when Shield and Evolution were facing off, the crowd was chanting for Evolution. When Randy Orton and Batista had their tag match against the Rhodes Brothers, the crowd was chanting for Randy Orton. This crowd was awful.
Well, I guess there's no accounting for taste. But yeah, that is weird. I thought the Evolution were doing good jobs really establishing themselves as heels. I guess that crowd disagreed.
Yeah, oh man. All right. Well, anyway, Triple H kind of pokes fun at Bryan not being able to compete. Says that every generation has performers that rise to the top, but when some of them get there, they just burn out like a flash in the pan, like Daniel Bryan. Some get there and become legends because they stand the test of time, month after month and year after year. They adapt. And of course, he brings up evolution. And as soon as he mentions the Shield, the crowd pops. He says that they're going to find out Sunday that you cannot stop evolution. And then he says that we're going to have the contract signing tonight, and that the Shield can decide to not show up at Payback and go on to be legends, or they can sign the contracts to compete at Payback and then perish. At which point Stephanie calls out Raw General Manager Brad Maddox.
Because it's going to be him and not John Cena. I wish we got a promo like that, but we didn't. Brad comes out, and Stephanie, pretty much says, Brad, what happened? And Triple H, questioning him as well, saying, now I made it so that in the match last week between Batista and Seth Rollins, only official personnel could be at ringside. That's why I did, was best for business, made myself the ring announcer, Randy Orton, the timekeeper. So what authority did the Shield get to be guest commentators? And then Brad Maddox is kind of stuttering, well, I didn't really have a choice. And Stephanie says, well, no, Brad, we get it. We get it. We heard, that they confronted you. They roughed you up a bit, and then you went to the trainer's room, and you probably felt like you didn't have a choice. Unfortunately, though, we're not left with much of a choice either. And then Kane's music hits, and I'm guessing that they're not going to discuss business, Ashton.
I don't think Kane is actually acting as a part of the authority anymore. He's just kind of their crony that they use, like the way Vince used to use Umaga to do his dirty work.
Yeah. No longer the director of operations, and you know what? I'm cool with it. And Brad kind of looks terrified. He turns around to a right hand from Triple H. Kane comes in, throttles Brad by the throat, kind of pauses a little bit, but then he slams him down with a choke slam. Then he picks him up again and he tombstones him. I don't know why. I was kind of half anticipating Daniel Bryan to come out, but then I'm like, oh wait, neck recovery, that's kind of a thing. So yeah, Brad Maddox pretty much gets laid out, and then Stephanie gets on the mic and she says, "Oh, Brad, I'm sorry, we never really got to finish our conversation. You're fired." So yeah, Brad Maddox gets fired, and then of course the cherry on top of the opening segment Sunday, we have personnel come out, and of course they strap Brad Maddox to a stretcher, included with neck brace.
Yeah, unfortunate because I enjoyed Brad Maddox, but he wasn't getting TV time anymore anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal.
I wonder though if he's going to be really now to like an in-ring competitor. If he's done with like, where do you think they're going to go with this now?
He might go back to being a ref.
Maybe. But I hope this isn't the last we see of Brad Maddox because I do genuinely enjoy him. I know you do too. I know Abel does. Abel loves Brad Maddox. So let's hope they find a place for him because that's what's best for business.
All right, so up next we had Cesaro versus RVD. Solid match. Again, though, they were protecting RVD because they had him get distracted for the second time in a row, and Cesaro got the win off of distraction. So yeah, again, very similar to late '90s, early 2000s WCW, in that they feel like they have to protect everyone.
Yeah, it's a shame because you can see, and I'm saying this objectively as well as just an absolute fanboy for freaking Cesaro here, that his stock is definitely on the rise. So it would be nice if he got a legitimate one-on-one victory over Van Dam without all the hoopla of interference and shenanigans and this and that. But no, bad news. Barrett was on commentary, tried to get involved. RVD kicked him away. Cesaro capitalized with the bridging German suplex. And to conclude what was an exciting opening contest, because, anytime we get to see Cesaro's feats of strength combined with RVD's just sheer athleticism, it's always nice. So, but I'm just looking forward to Cesaro's U.S. Championship match at Payback.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Not really a whole lot to say about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on, unless you have anything else to say.
Well, I mean, after the match, Sheamus did run down. They had a little bit of a skirmish, but it was cut off abruptly with a bro kick from Sheamus.
Scumbag Sheamus, yet again, he's supposed to be a babyface, and he just came down to the ring and attacked somebody after they had a 15-minute match.
Yeah, I know, completely brutish behavior on the part of our United States champion, and then he shakes the hand of the unconscious Cesaro. So, yeah, class act, Sheamus, class act.
Why is it that if somebody beats somebody down before a match, they're a scumbag, but if they beat them down after a long and grueling and hard-fought match, they're a good guy?
I don't know, my friend. Those double standards, quite sickening.
Freaking people. And then up next we had Eva Marie versus Summer Rae.
I don't even
Talk
really.
about it, John. Talk
I,
about it.
I know. We got to get there. I don't even really remember much about this match except the finish. It seemed like Summer was in control. Should have picked up a very easy victory because, as we've established, Eva Marie is awful. Then Fandango's music hits. Him and Layla dance just a bit before they start making out. And Summer is
Don't
irate. She's
use
like,
that word, Michael.
"Don't use that word, Muggle." But yeah, Summer's like, "Are you kidding me?" She's irate. And then Eva Marie, gotta get it out, John. Come on. She gets the schoolboy. She gets the 3 count, and she wins. Please talk. Oh,
I'm just gonna let that settle for a minute.
oh God, it hurts. Oh, Eva Marie beats Summer Rae. Okay, I gotta be a big boy and finish this. Afterwards, Summer pretty much throws a tantrum like you'd see in the early 2000s Christian when he was heel. Those were always hilarious. And I've actually I might as well address this now, Ashton, seeing as how this seems to be the appropriate segment. I have heard rumors that Summer Rae and Layla may be having a match together soon with Fandango as the special guest referee. And I've also heard rumors recently that Layla wants to return to England under permanent residence, I think sometime this year. So I'm curious if maybe this storyline could be her vehicle out of the company, or if that's just a bunch of smoke. So we'll have to see when things come into focus.
Where'd you hear that?
No DQ is where I read both. So yeah, as always, take it with a grain of salt, but I found it to be interesting.
All right, so up next we had not the match, the segment where Batista, Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust are all talking trash, and Triple H sets up the match. So, gonna move on. And up next we had Drew McIntyre versus El Torito. So unless you have anything to add, gonna move on.
Nope.
um, Up next we had the Wyatt family.
Right.
So we already talked about this. So unless you have anything to add, we can move on.
No, we can move on.